The glow beyond the campfire. I needed silence. Not the kind you get with earbuds or white noise, but real silence, the kind that presses against your skin like fog. The kind you can only find far from the city. Far from the static and screens and concrete. So I packed up my old hiking gear, drove 4 hours north to Pine's higher forest, and hiked deep into the woods where the trails fade and GPS just becomes a suggestion. I found a small, uneven clearing near a narrow river bend. A perfect campsite. Not a soul for miles. By sunset, I'd pitched my tent, built a small fire, and laid out my modest dinner, just instant noodles and a protein bar. Nothing gourmet. But with the sky going lavender and the trees humming low with wind, even cheap food tastes like comfort. So I packed up my old hiking gear, drove 4 hours north to Pine's higher forest, and hiked deep into the woods where the trails fade and GPS just becomes a suggestion. I found a small, uneven clearing near a narrow river bend. A perfect campsite. Not a soul for miles. I leaned back on my pack and stared at the sky, letting the quiet settle in. And it did. Quiet. No planes overhead. No traffic. No buzz of streetlights. Only the fire crackling and the soft gurgle of the river. I must have dozed off for a few minutes, because when I opened my eyes, the sky had gone ink black, and a chill had crept into the air. I reached for my coat, tossed another log onto the fire. And that's when I saw it. A glow. Faint, pale blue. Just beyond the tree line, across the river. At first I thought it was the reflection of a star on the water. But it was too steady, and moving. It pulsed. Not like fire, not flickering, but breathing. A lantern, maybe? A hunter? A ranger? I squinted through the smoke of my campfire and tried to rationalize. But the way it moved, it wasn't random. It moved back and forth, side to side. A slow, deliberate sway. Like someone pacing with purpose. And then, it stopped. No more pulsing. Just a constant blue eye in the dark, staring straight through the trees. I sat up, suddenly aware of my own breath, loud in my ears. My skin prickled. Something about the air had changed, it felt denser, heavier. Like walking into a room where someone had just been screaming. I whispered to myself, trying to cut the tension. Probably some night hiker. Nothing weird. I grabbed my flashlight and crept toward the riverbank. The blue glow held still. I turned on the beam, scanned the far side of the water, nothing. Ferns. Bark. Mist. No shape. No person. And then, gone. The glow just blinked out. The forest held its breath. No wind. No frogs. Not even the river. It felt like the whole world had paused, just for a beat. Like something was listening. I backed up toward the fire, shaking off the unease. Get a grip, Mark. You're alone, tired, and spooked. Still, I couldn't shake it. The glow. The silence. The way my gut twisted like it knew something was off. I sat by the fire and sipped some water, forcing myself to look away from the tree line. Then, a sound. Barely audible. A soft hum, almost like someone breathing through a flute. Rhythmic. Rising. I tilted my head. It wasn't coming from across the river anymore. It was coming from behind me. I turned slowly. A figure stood at the edge of the clearing. I hadn't heard footsteps. Hadn't seen movement. It was just there. It was tall, taller than any man I'd seen. Dressed in what looked like wet burlap robes, drooping with damp weight. Its face was completely hidden by a hood, shadows dancing across where I should have been. In its hand, it held a lantern. A blue lantern. The same glow. The humming grew louder, more layered, like dozens of voices singing out of sync. The figure raised its lantern, and the light flashed across the trees behind it. And that's when I saw them. Dozens of animal skulls, hung from tree branches. Goat. Deer. Fox. Birds. Bleached white and strung with twine. Antlers and bones clacked gently in the windless air, like wind chimes made from death. My breath caught. My flashlight slipped from my hand and rolled into the dirt. I stumbled backward. "Who are you?" I whispered. The figure didn't speak. But it raised its free hand slowly, as if beckoning. Then the chanting began. Low. Hollow. Not male or female. The voice sounded damp, like it came from underwater. I bolted from my tent, crashing through ferns and tripping over rocks. The chanting followed me, growing louder, now echoing like it bounced off invisible walls. My flashlight flickered and died. Darkness swallowed everything but the lantern's glow. As I dove into the tent, I could still hear the laughter behind me. Not angry. Not mocking. Inviting. I zipped the flap shut, barely daring to breathe. The laughter stopped. A beat of silence. Then, a whisper. Inside the tent. We checked the basement door. It was padlocked, as I'd locked it. Now the lock was bent, teeth ground flat. The door creaked open if you pushed hard. You saw the light. Now you belonged to it. I didn't sleep. Not a second. When morning came, I crept out, my limbs stiff and cold. The clearing looked untouched. No footprints. No skulls. No lantern. The fire pit was cold, as if it had been dead for days. Only one thing had changed. My flashlight lay 6 feet from the riverbank, its batteries removed and arranged in a perfect circle. Like tiny silver teeth. I packed up and hiked out of the forest in silence. I didn't speak to anyone. Didn't stop to eat. I just walked, like something was following me and would catch up if I ever slowed down. A week later, while cleaning out my backpack, I found something tucked between 2 maps. A newspaper clipping. Old. Yellowed. No idea how it got there. No idea how it got there. Headline: Forest cult disappears after blue flame ritual. Date: 1924. Location: Pineshire. The article described a group that claimed they could commune with the light beyond dawn, that they could join with something older than stars. Their leader's final quote chilled me to the core. We join the light that no dawn can chase. Now, every time I walk by woods at night, I see it. That blue glow, just beyond the trees. Waiting. Calling. And in my bones, I feel it. One night, I will answer it again. And next time, I won't come back.